Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me. Today we're going to be talking about hole jumpers, or basically people that fish what's called the bent rod pattern, people that see people catching fish and come in on them when they're not supposed to be. Just in general, some unethical behavior that occurs in bass fishing and bass fishing tournaments. And I've been around this a lot. I've been, fishing tournaments for so long. I've seen it come and go. And I've got some opinions on this that I want to share with you guys and may give you a better understanding about what this whole controversial hole buzzard topic's all about today. Also, guys, before we get started, just want to let you know that Tackle Warehouse has got a big spring fishing sale going on right now. They got 25% off on a bunch of stuff on the entire website. I'll put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of the video if you guys want to get some good sales. By using that link, it's a good way to support Intuitive Angling because we get a percentage of anything that you buy, a little percentage of the commission, not much, but just enough to keep the lights on around the house. So I really appreciate that. And also thank you very much for everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button to this week to the channel. We're really working hard to get to 150,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate that. Okay, one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is, like, you guys may have been following some of the drama going on down at the Bass Pro Tour event down at the Harris Chain with Keith Poche, and I believe it was Adrian Avena. This whole going back and forth about people seeing people fish and coming in on them, and I sort of wanted to address that entire topic of hole buzzards or hole jumping or whatever you're going to call it, because I've been around it a lot. So the first thing I want to say about this, guys, and this is like anything else in life, there's always two sides to the story. A lot of times, more than not, a lot of these problems that come up and a lot of people that accuse other anglers of being a hole buzzard, they don't have the whole story about what's going on, because there is two sides to every story. Now, I'm not being apologetic for people that do it intentionally, but sometimes it's a matter of just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Let me give you one prime example, what happened to me years ago, and I'll tell you exactly how this can go down. Now, I was fishing a tournament. It was early on in my career, actually. I'd only been fishing for a couple of years. It was at the Potomac River. And in the Potomac River there, it's a tidal river. So a lot of stuff is based upon being at the right tide at the right time. And I had this one little grass point. It was like a big grass point on the main lake flat there. And every morning in practice, I could go there and I could get bit on a pop R right off the bat. And I'd catch a limit probably in about an hour and leave. So the first day of the tournament, I went in there. That was my first spot. I went to my very first spot, caught a limit, like I said, in 20 or 30 minutes, and left the spot to go hunting for some bigger fish. So anyway, after the first day of the tournament, Paul Elias was leading the tournament. And I hadn't seen him all day. I didn't know where he's fishing. So the second day of the tournament, I went right back to my grass point where I'd caught him, my limit the first day. And Paul Elias shows up, like, as soon as I pull up there, and he was just pissed. He was like, just reaming me up and down, saying he was leading the tournament here and I'm jumping the hole. And I go, Paul, I said, I caught my limit here yesterday morning in 30 minutes. I said, this is where I started and this is where I'm starting this morning. And he was just like bent out of shape about it. And finally, after we talked about it, he realized that it was just a matter that I was there at a time where he wasn't. I wasn't trying to hole jumping him or anything. But that is how so much of this goes down. It's like a lot of people get bent out of shape. They see somebody and they don't know the full story. Now, this isn't always the case. Sometimes I've had them do this too. Sometimes it's intentional, where people, they see you doing well, they see you fishing, and then they come in on you, or they try to come in on you, and they say that they fished it in practice or this or that. So here's some other situations I've had. I've had some situations where I was doing well in the tournament, and then the second day somebody shows up after I was doing well in the tournament, and they start fishing where I was, and I would call them out on it, and they say, well, I practice in here. And I'm just like, well, you may have practiced in here, but you weren't in here yesterday. If you had thought it was that great of a spot, you'd have been in here yesterday. I said, that's part of it. You have got to go where you're catching them. You can't just hope that somebody's not going to find a place. You've got to get there if you think there's fish are going to be there. And a lot of this goes on with local anglers, because a lot of local anglers will purposely follow pros around, and then they come in on their area after the pro gets off the water, or they're there the next morning. We've all seen that. Basically, this whole thing about hole buzzards and hole jumping and that type of thing, it comes down to integrity and ethics and doing the right thing. Now, there's a lot of times it's like it can be a gray area. It's like you may have wanted to fish an area and you see somebody that's doing well in a tournament, and then you have to give them space. You can't just like go in on where they're fishing. It's like if you want to fish an area, you've got to just honor those people if they've done a little bit better. And if you're doing well in a tournament, you can't claim everything. It's like if you can't claim like a mile section of bank that's yours. It's like everything has got to be worked out. And if there's any issues or any problems, the best thing to do is take care of it on the water. And everything what I've always done, it's like if there is any question, it's like if I have a something that I think that may upset somebody, or if I feel that this could possibly create a tension, I go up to the person on the water and say, hey, look, man, I've been fishing from here to here. I said, is it okay if I pull in here and start fishing? And a lot of times, they'll say, yeah, no problem. Sometimes they'll say, well, whatever. And but you have to work it out, and you have to communicate with everybody in order to make it right. Do the right thing. And the thing that I hate to see about this is a lot of times you'll have one person bad mouthing somebody else that they hole jumped or did something without hearing the full story, and then it gets out, and then the person gets a reputation, or the story blows up before the other person had time to explain themselves. So the best thing that you can do with it, guys, is if you're not doing the right thing. Everybody knows if they're like, if they didn't have any right to fish an area, or they hadn't been fishing an area, and if they pulled in on there simply because they saw somebody doing well, then that's pretty weak. But there's so much stuff in between there. There's timing, there's just so many little variables about it. But the main thing, guys, is just do the right thing. Put yourself in the same position as the other person, and find out if you would want them fishing in on you, and just communicate with it. Just absolutely, communication is key on this. So it's something that you're going to probably run into in fishing, whether you fish recreational or fun or not. And that's just part of sharing the public body of the water. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope it helps out, and we'll talk later.